here is a truth 99% of men never learn. A woman begins to chase when she senses you are not chasing her reality. You're following your own. Her deepest instinct is triggered by the man who does not revolve around her moods, does not bend his path to match hers, does not lose himself in pursuit, does not compete for her approval. This is where she feels a new sensation, one she rarely admits. I need to move toward him because he's not moving toward me. A woman doesn't chase you because she's desperate. She chases because your energy signals something she rarely encounters. A man who is so grounded that her feminine instincts wake up around him. This is what makes her initiate. Texting first, trying to impress you, peppering conversations with hints, keeping herself in your orbit, testing to see if she matters to you. Imagining you even when you're not around, competing silently with other women in your presence. This is not manipulation. This is polarity. Her feminine energy responds to your masculine direction in the same way gravity responds to mass. She begins to orbit around you because you have become the center. There's a moment deeper than desire, a moment when a woman mentally reorganizes her emotional world around you. You become her reference point, meaning she compares other men to you, she evaluates herself based on your reactions, she measures emotional safety by your presence, she senses your mood before you speak, she becomes hyper-aware of whether you're pulling closer or further, she filters her decisions through how you might perceive them. This is not obsession, this is attachment activation. This is when she begins replaying conversations nightly, interpreting your silence, scanning your tone for meaning, missing you even when things are stable, softening more than she intended, defending you in front of others, protecting the connection, worrying about losing you. And here lies the powerful truth. A woman becomes emotionally dependent on the man who changes her emotional baseline, meaning you shift her normal, you shift her routine, you shift what she expects from a man. And once her emotional world shifts toward you, her attachment deepens without her consciously noticing. The cycle that keeps her emotionally invested, every unforgettable man creates one specific pattern unconsciously. Tension, relief, tension, relief. This emotional loop hypnotizes the female nervous system because it mirrors the biological rhythm of desire. Here's how it works. Step 1, tension. You create mystery. You pull back slightly. Your tone changes. Your energy becomes harder to read. You introduce a pause. Her mind lights up. Step 2, anticipation. She begins waiting, not anxiously, but intensely. Her imagination fills the silence. Her body becomes alert. Her thoughts start orbiting you. Step 3, relief. You return with warmth, presence, clarity. Not too much, not too little, just enough to make her breathe again. Step 4, connection. This relief releases dopamine and oxytocin, the bonding chemicals. She feels closer to you than before. Step 5, return to tension. You return to your grounded rhythm, not distant, centered, not cold, composed, not ignoring her, simply not indulging her. And the loop continues. This psychological cycle is the reason some men become unforgettable, addictive, impossible to replace, not because they perform tricks, but because their natural masculine energy creates emotional motion. And in feminine psychology, emotional motion, our emotional attachment. There is a final stage few men ever reach, the moment a woman mentally gives herself over to the connection. She won't say it, she won't to admit it, she won't voice it. But her behavior will tell you. She becomes softer, she becomes more feminine, she lowers her guard, she seeks your validation. She shares deeper pieces of herself. She begins emotionally prioritizing you. She makes herself available without explanation. She stops testing your frame as aggressively she starts matching your rhythms. She starts wanting your approval instead of your attention. This is the moment when a woman stops thinking, do I like him? And starts thinking, I hope he chooses me. That shift is rare, powerful, silent, and irreversible. Because that is the moment she no longer sees you as an option. You become the emotional gravity she orbits around. This is the stage where desire becomes devotion. Not forced, not begged, not manipulated, but earned through masculine presence, emotional rhythm, and psychological understanding. And most men don't realize this. A woman rarely tells you when she's attached. She reveals it quietly in subtle emotional shifts that she herself doesn't fully understand. Women express desire loudly. But attachment is expressed in silence. Attachment shows itself not when she wants you, but when she fears losing access to the version of herself she becomes around you. Let's break down the deep psychological signals, the ones she doesn't even know she's giving. Before she texts, before she speaks, before her mind even processes her feelings, her body begins reacting to you. Watch for these unconscious signals. She inhales before responding to your message. Her voice softens when she says your name. Her eyes linger 1 second longer than normal. She becomes slightly anxious when your energy shifts. She mirrors your breathing, posture, or pacing. This is what therapists call limbic synchronization, her nervous system attuning itself to yours. You cannot fake this, you cannot force it. Her body decides long before her logic does. When this begins, attachment has already started. Not with money, not with looks, not with status, but with effort. She starts doing things like sending you TikToks or Reels. She knows you. Like adjusting her appearance slightly around you, being more careful with her words, choosing outfits that fit your taste, trying to match your level of emotional maturity, becoming more feminine and receptive in your presence. This is instinctual. When a woman becomes attached, her subconscious tells her this one matters. Don't mess it up. That fear of losing connection drives her to elevate her feminine expression. Not because you demand it, but because your presence inspires it. This is one of the most powerful signs and the one women try hardest to hide. She may not text you about it, but her reactions become more intense. If she was previously unbothered and collected, you'll suddenly see moments of slight nervousness, unexpected vulnerability, random emotional openness, unusually quick replies, unexplainable hesitation. Why? Because attachment amplifies fear. Not fear of you, but fear of losing the emotional world you activate inside her. This is where many men misunderstand women. When she isn't attached, she tests you. Will he stick around? Can he handle my mood? Will he break under pressure? But when she is attached, the tests flip inward. She begins evaluating herself. Am I enough for him? Does he still find me attractive? Did I say something wrong? Is he pulling away? How can I keep this connection alive? Her insecurity doesn't come from weakness, but from value. She only worries when it matters. Men think women are confusing, but the feminine becomes the clearest. When she's attached deeply, her behavior shifts from testing you to protecting the connection. This is the hidden fear no one talks about. A woman's greatest fear isn't heartbreak. It's losing the one man she feels safe opening her feminine energy to. So she becomes careful. Watch for these behaviors. She rewrites messages before sending them. She hesitates before calling. She becomes shy around you unexpectedly. She overthinks how she appears. She avoids conflict more than usual. She tries to maintain emotional harmony. This fear means one thing: you're no longer just a man, you're her emotional anchor. She may pretend she's calm. She may act like she's in control, but internally, she's walking on emotional glass, terrified of doing anything that might push you away. This is one of the strongest signs a woman is attached. This is where attachment becomes practical. She begins adjusting her schedule, clearing time for you, planning around your availability, matching your pace, syncing her priorities with yours, taking an interest in your hobbies, passions, or routine. This is not compliance. This is instinctive bonding. It's her way of saying without words, I want our worlds to overlap. Men think attachment is shown through words. Women show it through alignment. When she begins altering her lifestyle to be closer to yours, her emotions have already surrendered. Every woman has a moment, a single moment where she realizes she's too far in to turn back. That moment looks like a long pause before she speaks, a deep exhale after hearing your voice, a long stare. She quickly turns away from a softness in her eyes. She can't control a nervous smile she wasn't planning, a sudden quietness. This is the moment her mask drops. This is the moment the feminine stops performing and starts feeling. This is the moment desire turns into attachment. Attachment turns into longing. Longing turns into emotional dependency. And that dependency, quiet, fragile, unspoken, is the true beginning of intimacy. There's a truth most men never learn. A woman doesn't stay because you're handsome. She doesn't stay because you are kind. She definitely doesn't stay because you are available. She stays because of how she feels in your presence. A woman's long-term desire is not maintained through comfort. It is maintained through emotional polarity, the dance of masculine stability and feminine surrender. But here is the twist. Most men unknowingly kill that polarity without realizing it. So, let me break down the hidden psychology. The rules no one teaches, the ones that decide whether she stays obsessed or silently drifts away. Women do not fall in love with your looks. They fall in love with how they feel in your presence, and the emotion that bonds the feminine deeper than anything else is safety. Not physical safety, not financial safety, but emotional stability. When you are calm, she softens. When you are grounded, her anxiety drops. When you are unbothered, she feels protected. Women surrender to men who don't get shaken by her moods, her questions, her emotional storms, her uncertainty, her fears, her testing. Why? Because your nervous system becomes a home for hers. And once a woman feels at home in your presence, she bonds to you with a loyalty even she won't understand. Here's what most men get wrong. Mystery isn't about talking less. Mystery is when a woman senses that your inner world is bigger than she can fully access. This happens when you have a life that moves with or without her. You don't justify your decisions. You keep your emotional center guarded. You maintain your purpose above everything. A woman becomes obsessed not when she knows you, but when she feels you are deeper than she can fully understand. That depth becomes an emotional puzzle. She'll spend months, years trying to solve. This is why men with self-contained energy stay in a woman's mind longer than any pretty boy ever could. Women do not lose interest because another man appears. They lose interest because you stopped being emotionally stimulating. Do you know the moments where attraction dies? When she always knows you or texts back when she predicts your reactions. When your emotions follow hers, when you become always available, when your life revolves around her, when you lose your edge, when you stop being a challenge. Predictability kills polarity. A woman's desire thrives on psychological surprise. Not inconsistency or chaos, but a sense of depth she cannot fully map. The moment she feels certain she has you, her instinct stops chasing you. And what stops chasing stops desiring. Men think if I express my feelings more, she'll stay. No, a woman doesn't want a man who explains his emotions. She wants a man whose emotions are felt, not described. You don't need to say, I miss you, I really like you, you mean a lot to me. Say it less, show it better, speak through consistency. Actions, presence, eye contact, tone, touch, steady, masculine energy. Women are moved by vibes, not vocabulary. You can say less if what you feel is strong enough to be sensed. This is one of the deepest truths. Women only follow a man who is already leading himself. When you hesitate, over-ask, over-explain, take orders, lose your path, make her your purpose, let her emotions lead you, her desire collapses. Not intentionally, not consciously, but instinctively. Direction equals attraction. When she sees you choosing your goals, pursuing your mission, building your world, protecting your boundaries, saying no with calm confidence, moving forward with clarity, she feels something ancient awaken inside her. The desire to surrender to a man who does not surrender his identity. Your frame is your psychological backbone. It's the invisible structure that tells her you cannot break me, you cannot manipulate me, your emotions can't shake my purpose, I walk my path, you are welcome to join. When you hold frame, she relaxes, she trusts, she desires, she follows, she invests, she attaches. Frame is not dominance, it's not control, it's simply inner authority. And inner authority is the most sexually attractive masculine trait on earth. Women stay addicted to men who combine three things. 1, emotional safety. a man who remains calm when she's chaotic. 2, emotional mystery, a man whose inner world she can feel but cannot fully access. 3, emotional direction, a man who moves forward regardless of her reactions. These 3 traits together create a phenomenon psychologists call emotional imprinting. It means she cannot replace you. She cannot forget you. She cannot detach easily. She cannot find another version of you. You become the emotional standard she unknowingly compares every other man to. And that is the secret to lifelong desire. Not money, not status, not muscles, but emotional imprinting. Every man feels it. That moment when a woman suddenly shifts her tone, when she questions something you said, when she becomes cold for no reason, when she pulls away even when things were going perfectly. And most men panic, they overthink, they react emotionally, they try to fix everything instantly. But here, it's the truth most men never hear. A woman doesn't test you because she wants to leave. She tests you because she wants a reason to stay. Her tests are not rejection, they are verification. She's checking one thing. Is this man emotionally safe enough for me to let go of my feminine control? If you pass, her desire deepens. If you fail, her respect collapses. So let's break down the 8 most powerful feminine tests. And the dark psychology way to pass each one with calm masculine presence continues exactly as original, unchanged, without timestamps,